experiment that we're going to be doing today is going to show how the density of a liquid can impact whether or not an object can float. And all you need for this experiment is 3 glasses of water, 3 eggs, a spoon, a jug of water, and some salt. So first you would have just 3 glasses of water straight out of the sink. I've already mixed some salt into this one right here. This one's just fresh water out of the sink, and same with this one. What you would do to 2 of the 3 glasses of water is basically add 4 teaspoons of salt, just like this, into 2 of them. Now one's already had the salt added, so I'm only going to do it to 1 of them. And yeah, 4 teaspoons. And once it's in there, make sure you stir it around so it basically dissolves. Once you get to this point, you are going to add 1 of the eggs into the fresh water, which is just right out of the sink. Use a spoon, make sure you don't drop it in too hard. And what you see here is that it sinks because the egg is more dense than the liquid that it's going into. Now, this one here, the second egg you're going to add is into the salt water, or the water that had the salt mixed into it. What you should see here is that the egg floats. And I'll get into the explanation for that in a second. And then for the third glass, which is also a cup of water with the salt that was mixed into it, the one that you actually watched me add salt to, add the third egg into there, and just like the second glass, it floats. Now the reason this is happening is because the water it is in is more dense than the egg itself because of the salt. So as the last step to this experiment, you'll take the jug of fresh water, which is just right out of the sink, and slowly add it to 1 of the glasses of water that had the salt mixed into it, where you see the eggs are floating right now, and obviously the egg in this glass is at the bottom because it's sunk in just fresh water. You slowly add water to it. You'll see that the egg is finally starting to go down somewhat. And the more water that you would add to the salt water, the farther it would go down because it's changing the substance of the water in this glass. And like I said before, the egg sunk in this glass because the egg was more dense than the water that it was in. The egg floated here because the water it was in was more dense than the egg itself. So really, in closing, this whole experiment is just kind of showing how the denser a liquid is, the easier it is for an object to float. And thanks for watching my experiment. So the experiment that we're going to be doing here today is about... Here we go. Restart it.
Just keep going.
No, restart
7
it.
seconds.
Now this one I just added the salt into, so we'll see what happens. We'll cut that out.
It's not supposed to float.
It's because it just let it sit for a while. Okay, so let's use these 2. No, I can't do that
You
because...
want me to stop it?
Yeah, stop it. What you'll see is the egg should start to sink and go down. Hold on, we'll restart. Hey, wait. We're running out of space here.
Try the other one.
Actually, you're gonna see it. Just restart it. And over time, the more you would add water into it, it would take the, it would kind of distill it. Wait, what are you giving me a weird look for?
I think we should make it till it goes down.
Well, look how much room's left.